Hi, everyone. Welcome to reading video log number 4. I bit off more than I can chew this time, so in the interest of getting another one of these out today, I'll only be talking about one of the books that I read yesterday. I'll then follow that up with a preview of the books that I'll be covering in the next two videos. The good news is that I did manage to choose a challenging but coherent collection of books that I'm similarly near the end of, but which have fallen off the end of my stack. I think that these will weave a particularly interesting pair of conceptual narratives, so let's get to it. So On the Production of Subjectivity by Simon O'Sullivan is a whirlwind tour of diagrammatic thought through the works of Deleuze, Guattari, Bergson, Nietzsche, Spinoza, Badiou, as well as a brief treatment of the speculative realists. The main through line consists in interrogating the relationship between the finite and the infinite. Do we have direct access to the infinite, perhaps by some means imminent to creativity and experimentation? Or is there an immovable bar, as in Lacan? O'Sullivan explores the contrast between the lineage of thinkers audacious enough to think the former and those who have set up us the bar. So this is one of the best books I've read in years. At the very least, it seems to have been written directly to the obscure philosophical tribe of which I'm a happy member. In addition to containing the best summary of Guattari's last work, Chaosmosis, that I've ever seen, and a deeply lucid comparison of Gilles Deleuze and Alain Badiou with regard to their respective concepts of the event, it richly condenses a broad tapestry of Deleuze-Guattarian themes while confidently emphasizing the importance of living practice. If there's any book that I'm likely to do a full summary review of sometime in the future, it's this one. Before this session, I had already finished the main text, so this will only be a brief summary of a few pages of notes. O'Sullivan mentions that the book was inspired by an essay, The Production of the New and the Care of the Self, the continual inspiration he takes from Buddhist practice and art creation, and an article by Todd May called Philosophy as a Spiritual Exercise in Foucault and Deleuze. I haven't read these yet, but I'm curious. As to the book's purpose, O'Sullivan writes in the introduction, the different chapters of the book are a record of my own attempt to work through what different thinkers might offer in aid of my desire to reconnect with life, and specifically a form of life that might be lived against the dominant injunctions and regulative speeds of the market, thinkers that, as it were, offer a different thinking of time and temporality. He mentions in the corresponding note that he had previously attempted to do this in an essay titled Contours and Case Studies for Dissenting Subjectivity, or How to Live Creatively in a Fearful World, with his friend Ola Stahl. Elsewhere, he writes that capitalism, we might say, organizes encounters so as to produce a situation in which we are the spectators of our own lives. In this sense, the apparent joys of consumerism and accumulation are always transitory and vicarious. In fact, it seems to me that the predominating character of our contemporary affective landscape is fear, and a kind of paralysis that arises from it. And that he therefore seeks a form of thought that moves beyond passive knowledge, or what Deleuze refers to as opinion and hearsay. On this, he writes, the resources for thinking a different kind of production of subjectivity are not necessarily to be found in the tradition of dialectic thinking that Marx inherits from Hegel, and which, we might say, is continued in Frankfurt School critical theory. This point reminds me of another book that I recently finished called Meandering Through the Politics of Everyday Life by Robert Porter, a post-critical text which explores a similar turn via situationist relevant agem. There's more, such as a mention of this interesting sounding book by John Larkey called Post-Continental Philosophy, a further exploration of diagrammatology, but I'll just leave it at that for today. So here's what's in store for the next two videos. In number 5, I'll be discussing short snippets of A New Concept of the Universe by Walter Russell, The Self-Evolving Cosmos by Stephen M. Rosen, Order Out of Chaos by Isabel Stengers and Ilya Prigozhin, and another of my all-time favorites, The Allure of Machinic Life by John Johnston. In number 6, I'll be discussing Peer-to-Peer, The Commons Manifesto by Michel Bauwens, Cybernetic Revolutionaries by Adine Medina, Swarm Creativity by Peter A. Glore, The Origin of Humanists in the Biology of Love by Umberto Maturana. If you enjoy this format, please by all means like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any thoughts or insights in the comment sections. Until next time.